Hey, it's Joshua with New Review coming at you with a new review on the TV series Zoo, taking place in the United States at around this time, and with this current season, 10 years in the future. We follow a group of individuals who are trying to figure out what's going on with the animals and how to fix the problem before it kills humanity. At least that's what happened in the first two seasons. The first season, they were trying to figure out what was going on and how to fix it. The second season, they knew what was going on. They just were trying to figure out how to fix it, and they fixed it, kinda. Um, and this third season, they're trying to fix some more things. Only now it's hybrid animals trying to kill every human on the planet. I'll go into a little bit more detail of the first two seasons, and then do a review of the newest episode of this season. And yeah, you guys. On top of that, you guys should check it out. It's on CBS on Thursdays at 7. Um, Anyways, the first season, animals are of zoo. Animals are suddenly starting to attack humans and are developing newer and stranger behaviors. For instance, lions. Male lions start to hunt in groups together, which is unusual because male lions do not hunt usually or work together in groups. They're typically solitary. If they hunt, it's because they don't have a pride of females to hunt for them. And again, male lions are solitary in that they do not like being around other male lions. Um, as the season progresses, we see many different animals evolve in actually quite startling and rapid, uh, great rapidity. For instance, rats evolve the ability to have the males produce offspring and the females just produce milk, which was kind of disturbing when watching. Um, and the entire time they're trying to figure out what's going on. And by the end of the season, well, actually, they figure out relatively quickly what is causing the changes. They just don't know how to stop the changes. And by the end of the season, they figured out what to do. And by the final episode, they have a way to do it. But the second season, they figure out that there's no changing it because it's gone too far. And so they then have to figure out a way to get it fixed again. Um, However, this time they have to go a little bit deeper because apparently in their universe this has happened before, and there were specific animals that have this strange triple helixical DNA structure that were around previously and they had been sterilized. However, 100 years later, happened again. And so they had to figure out how to fix things, and they did. And they figured it out by working with an organization of people who it turns out want to cause humanity to go extinct. And instead of sterilizing the animals, they sterilize everything that is not an animal. Well, technically humans are animals, but anything that is not the dominant species on the planet. Um, they pacify the animals so they're not as vicious, but humans no longer can have kids. And we see by the end of the episode, 10 years later, elementary schools are starting to close up, and that's, as a human, that is not very appealing to think about. Um, and additionally, hybrid creatures have made it to the world off of this secret scientist organization's island, and are now starting to kill people, and that's just lots of fun. And now on to the first episode of season 3, which aired last week. So we learned that in the 10 years these hybrid creatures have made it to parts of the world. And in North America, they've built this giant walling off the west coast, and they've been getting as many people as they can find from various locations in the western states. across the wall into safety. Um, and one of our main characters, Jackson Oz, whose dad was, ironically enough, one of the crazy science people, um, is part of the teams that are trying to rescue people, and he's trying to keep his identity secret because, again, his dad helped sterilize humanity, which is not a good thing. It's a bad thing, obviously. And so keeping his identity secret protects him, which is good because he's trying to help people. Um, Additionally, he's also in charge of a team of lions that protect the rescue teams from the hybrids, which is actually kind of interesting because the animals have gone from trying to kill people to trying to help people. And by animals, I mean the normal animals, not the hybrids. Um, and he runs into a hybrid that he's never seen before because before he'd seen wolves with spines coming out of them, and now he encounters a rhino that kind of is prehistoric looking in nature, and it's actually kind of interesting because they try to capture it to figure out what's going on with it. And that is the bulk of his storyline until the end, when it seems that a shepherd, the organization that sterilized humanity, blows up the truck the rhino thing is in, and that's where we were kind of cut off. We don't know what happened after. Um, there's also a Mitch storyline. Mitch was one of the main characters, and at the end, he seemingly was killed by the wolf things called Razorbacks. But it's later found out that he's not dead, and he's been in a stasis thing. And now the government is trying to get him so that they can figure out how to fix things because he figured out how to cure the animals and helped figure out how to find the sterilization animals. Um, which was fairly impressive for a man, for any one man to be able to do. And so obviously he is someone that the government wants, and he's been in stasis for 10 years, so he's getting used to being in air, which is a very interesting thing. It's a very minor storyline overall, but it's something very interesting to watch. Um, Another main member of the original team, one second, forgot the name for a second. Jamie. Jamie was one of the original gung ho against the original cause of the issue. Um, and she was a journalist. But over the 10 subsequent years, she's become an author and kind of a spy badass. And she's hunting down shepherds, trying to stop them because she thinks there's an even bigger conspiracy because there may be another member of their other members of their organization still out there, especially the leader, and any number of them out there is still a threat. And the big thread of her storyline is trying to find this leader, and she runs into an old flame of hers named Logan, who used to be a criminal, but he became a cop in the subsequent 10 years, and they dated, and that ended badly. And now they're kind of on opposite sides. And it's a little interesting to see her kind of take over his old role of being like the spy, criminal, badass thing, and he's taken over her role of being the responsible one. And that's really interesting to see. I'd like to see how that um, grows over the season. And then there is a storyline with an original team member, addition to the team, and Mitch's daughters. So Abraham, Daniela, and Clementine, they're all working together to try to figure out where Mitch is, try to save him from the IADG, the organization that developed to defend humanity against animals. Um, because they're a little because she's Clementine is a little suspicious of the IADG, and Abraham in the subsequent years has become a scientist, married Daniela, who he had a carnal relationship with earlier in the second season. Um, and they have a kid of their own, Daniela and Abraham, and they're still active in working with figuring out the hybrids are and what's going on with them. But this bringing them back into like the fray is going to be very interesting, and I'd like to see how this season goes out with all of these interesting characters and how their stories will end up. This is Joshua with New Review. You guys should really check out Zoo on CBS.